Most books and films are penned by one writer. And although some television production companies employ a team of writers to work on a specific show, those writers work under the direction of the series creator because one vision often works best when it comes to quality storytelling. Yet in life, we consciously and unconsciously give away ownership of our life story to so many interlopers. And this is where so much goes so wrong for us. You and only you can be, must be, the writer, the creator, the owner of your life story. This seems like a no-brainer, right? So why are you allowing local and national public servants to enact laws, regulations, and systems that limit your freedom under the guise of security and civil order? Why do you let them restrict your access to books and information or censor you? Furthermore, why do you care more about who is elected as president than who is elected as the mayor of your town or the head of your school board? After all, it is your state and local leaders that hold significantly more power and daily influence over your life and the lives of your family than the federal government wields. Yet, we participate more in national elections than local elections by almost a 2-to-1 margin. Your focus and priorities are completely backward, my friend. Once you do vote, are you keeping tab on the track record of the people you install into office? Because you aren't doing your due diligence to hold them accountable for every action, every vote, every law they pass. You are fueling the ambitions of people who only crave power to hold office. If you held all your elected officials accountable to you as the public servants they really are, none of the tyrants we have in office now would even run. Because let's be honest, they don't want to serve people in the least bit. They only want to own them, hold power over them, over you. When you, in no uncertain terms, remind these kinds of power mongers, you work for me, all the egotistical maniacs, fascists, and elitists will scurry elsewhere to muck up some private company or organization instead. Do your due diligence. Treat all elected officials as the public servants they are, and remind them frequently of this, and we'll all have much better candidates to choose from. This way, the officials that are elected to serve you will actually help write the story you choose to tell, rather than derail, restrict, and ruin your life. Once you clean up house within your local government, next, you need to turn your attention toward the corporations and private organizations where all those nefarious villains just scurried to hide. With even a cursory scan over today's headlines, you'll uncover scores of companies operating around the world that willfully create and solicit products and services they know are literally killing us, all in the name of profit. Why are you giving them the power to not just turn your story into a nightmare, but potentially cut your story years and even decades short? As steadfastly as you breathe, you should be taking stock of what business practices are hurting and even poisoning you, and the important supporting characters in your life. Shut down the operations that are warming your planet, polluting your rivers, tainting your food, and causing you cancer. We've watched far too many doomsday films to know that when environmental crises arise, freedom and independence are jeopardized. Access to precious resources and disruptions to ecosystems lead to conflict over the basics pretty quick. Land, water, and food must be preserved at all costs. So sound the Avengers Assemble war chant and save the day for yourself and your loved ones. Don't let lobbyists, capitalists, and power-hoarding villains threaten your health, welfare, and time on this planet. On the social media front, are you allowing groupspeak and popularized conventions to influence your behavior and instigate conformity and consensus? Again, who is writing this story? You! Stop wasting time in echo chambers. Find the important stories on the horizon nobody is talking about and bring them to light. Demonstrate why they are important to consider and confront. You just might change the world and save a life or two. In situations where you feel uninformed or lack expertise in a particular area, be careful how you defer to others you perceive as more knowledgeable or experienced. Accomplished writers write the dialogue and action for not only their main character, but for every other character that exists in the story. Thus, they become specialists in an ultra-wide variety of subjects and viewpoints. When you find yourself in new waters, learn, research, explore, discover firsthand. Do whatever it takes to become in the know rather than defer blindly to others who may potentially lead you astray, accidentally or intentionally. Don't fall into the trap of delegating decision-making to others out of fear and uncertainty, or for the sake of convenience or efficiency, or because someone is a purported authority, community leader, or religious guide. Your doctor doesn't have all the answers 100% of the time. I put a thyroid condition into remission, doing the opposite of what my doctor suggested, studying a breadth of information surprisingly at my fingertips, which helped illuminate a successful path toward healing. Uncertainty about the consequences of different choices disempowers us to seek guidance elsewhere or even rely solely on others to make decisions on our behalf. Fight fear and uncertainty with knowledge and multiple sources of information so that you can begin to clearly see where opinions can be backed up with facts and where they can't. Information is easily manipulated, so you can never rely on just one source, especially when that information is couched within ulterior motives that run contrary to your best interests. Steer clear of relationships and societal structures where a power imbalance exists. Unequal footing often forces you to relinquish your autonomy to those in positions of authority or influence. Tread extra cautiously here because your worst enemies often lurk within hierarchical organizations, political regimes, and maybe even the life partner who has now become manipulative or abusive. Remember the safety you have in numbers. Extreme wealth and power rests in the hands of the few, and they simply don't have the numbers to fend off the common good of the focused and coordinated masses. In fact, the middle class and poor outnumber the rich by a factor of 4 to 1. The massive economic inequalities we face in this world have only cultivated glaring disparities in education, healthcare, and resources necessary for your individual autonomy and self-determination. Stand with others facing similar slights from the powerful and wealthy. You have the numbers they will never have, and they know this, so they continually try to trick you into thinking it's useless to resist. Don't be the cowardly lion. Be Katniss Everdeen. We'll dive deeper into most of these topics in future episodes, but as an initial rough draft, to get your story quickly back on track, it's essential to remember that maintaining ownership of your life involves a combination of self-awareness, assertiveness, responsibility, resilience, critical thinking, empowerment, and ongoing personal growth. It's a never-ending process that requires conscious effort, reflection, and vigilance, but these are the essentials for living a fulfilling and authentic life. The key takeaway is this: when I say, you are the main character of your own story, it means nobody holds more importance, power, or position over you. Never forget that. And don't be afraid to remind others when they overstep their jurisdiction. Let me know in the comments how you intend to retake ownership of your life story. What's your first step? Until we meet again, be well, do extraordinary things, and live a story-charmed life.